Welcome to today's Inspiring Explainer. Today, we're digging into an amazing blueprint sourced from Wisdom Diaries. It's all about a young boy who actually used poverty as a catalyst for massive growth. We're stepping completely away from that whole myth of overnight success to map out the real, gritty mechanics of changing your life. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this question. Does hard work alone actually make a person rich? It's something we're taught from a very young age, right? Just put your head down, do the manual labor, work harder than the guy next to you, and boom, you'll inevitably find wealth. But as we'll see in the data and the incredible story we're examining today, that assumption is actually incredibly flawed. I mean, hard work is the baseline, absolutely, you need it. But on its own, it's just not the whole equation. Today's explainer is going to completely challenge that notion by looking at what happens when you combine relentless, raw effort with a totally different way of seeing the world.
Section 1. The Woodcutter's Daily Reality.
To really understand Mohan's journey, we've got to start at his baseline. He came from a poor, yet surprisingly content family in a small village. And man, Mohan's early life was grueling. Every single morning, honestly long before the sun even thought about coming up, Mohan and his dad were already out in the forest. They were doing the absolute definition of hard manual labor, just chopping and gathering raw wood to haul to the village market so they could scrape by. Now, Mohan was incredibly hardworking, matching his dad step for step, but he had this highly unique habit that totally separated him from everyone else out there in the trees. While others just saw a repetitive, tiring task, Mohan had this incredible capacity to observe things deeply. He was constantly looking right past the surface of his daily grind, scanning his environment for, something more.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds, seeing opportunity in wood.
Right here is where the critical paradigm shift happens. On one side, you have ordinary thinking. This was his father's daily grind, and honestly, it was the mindset of pretty much everyone in his village. You find raw wood, you sell raw wood for a few pennies. It's a simple one-to-one transaction of labor for a tiny bit of cash. But on the flip side, we have Mohan's realization, what we're calling big thinking. Walking through the market one day, Mohan noticed a shop selling these beautifully crafted wooden chairs and tables, and people were happily paying premium prices for them. It was a total light bulb moment. Mohan realized that the real money wasn't in finding resources, it was in transforming them. He was looking at the exact same wood his father saw, but he saw the opportunity to create furniture. He realized that immense value is actually created by human ingenuity, not just found lying on the forest floor.
And this brilliantly illustrates the turning point. Buzzing with curiosity, Mohan actually went right up to the shopkeeper and asked where these amazing chairs came from. The shopkeeper smiled and dropped this incredible piece of wisdom. He said, "Wood gets its true value when turned into something useful." That single sentence planted a massive seed of big thinking in Mohan's mind. Walking home that day, his brain was just on fire. He realized if selling raw wood makes you a few rupees, selling something crafted from that exact same wood multiplies its value exponentially. The raw material is exactly the same, but the applied imagination, that changes everything.
Section 3. Building the first stool.
Now, having a brilliant idea is great and all, but execution is what actually separates the dreamers from the achievers, and it's a messy transition. Mohan didn't magically become a master craftsman overnight. Actually, scratch that, it was the very next day after his realization at the market that he sought out an elderly village carpenter and begged to be his apprentice. He started at the absolute bottom, literally just holding the tools. Can you imagine? Try doing that for a few weeks without getting incredibly bored. But he put in the reps, slowly, painstakingly. He learned to cut, to sand, to shape the wood. He traded his free time for skill acquisition. And finally, after months of just patient learning, he built his very first small wooden stool.
Now listen to this because it's a vital takeaway for anyone learning something new. That first stool, it was far from a masterpiece. It was totally imperfect. But Mohan didn't let perfectionism paralyze him. He took that imperfect stool straight to the market. And you know what? A customer actually bought it. No way, right? But that single, small transaction was like absolute rocket fuel for his mindset. Selling his first creation gave him this massive, undeniable boost in confidence. It was his proof of concept. From that day on, the whole routine changed. He'd spend his days selling raw wood with his dad, and then spend his evenings passionately building furniture. He was literally financing his future with his day job. Section 4. Scaling through community collaboration.
So the crucial point is what happens next. As his evening side hustle started seeing incredible demand, Mohan hit a physical ceiling. He realized a profound business truth: hard work alone just isn't enough. It has to be directed and leveraged properly. Despite working day and night, he simply couldn't keep up with the orders. People loved his work, but hey, there are only 24 hours in a day. If you're a solo operator, your output is strictly capped by your own physical endurance. To grow, Mohan had to undergo a massive identity shift. He had to stop being just a carpenter and step up to be a leader who could build and delegate to a team.
So how did he do it? To scale his operation, Mohan created a very actionable blueprint. Instead of looking outside for help, he looked right around his own village and found unemployed youth. He brought them in and taught them the very carpentry skills he'd worked so hard to learn. He was lifting his community out of unemployment while simultaneously building his own workforce. Next, he built a small, collaborative workshop where they could all work together efficiently. But the real anchor to his success was this. No matter how much they scaled, he prioritized product quality above absolutely everything else. Why? Because he understood that focusing on earning the customer's trust was his true capital. Trust is what turns a one-time buyer into a lifelong advocate for your brand.
Section 5. From Workshop to Empire.
That unwavering commitment to consistent quality soon acted like a massive magnet, attracting huge opportunities. But notice the incredible scale of time involved in this evolution here. We start with months of solo furniture making, just grinding it out alone in the evenings. That slowly evolved into years of running a small, collaborative workshop with the village youth. And only after that solid foundation was built did it snowball into decades of operating modern factories across the entire state. You know, the media loves to sell us this illusion of overnight success, but Mohan's timeline proves that true, sustainable empires are built through steady, methodical evolution.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is Mohan's unbelievable discipline in the face of temptation. Word of his high-quality furniture reached the cities, and eventually a major merchant approached him with an absolute dream offer: statewide distribution. Most entrepreneurs would blindly leap at that kind of money and scale, right? But Mohan, he actually pressed pause. He told the merchant to wait. He knew that if he scaled a broken system, he'd just fail faster. So he took the time to rigorously train his team and tighten up their quality control even further. Only when he knew his foundation was absolutely rock solid did he accept the offer. That kind of patience is so rare, and it's exactly why he succeeded on such a massive scale.
Section 6. The Power of Big Thinking.
Jumping forward in time, we reach this beautiful full-circle moment where Mohan actually returns to his humble village school. But this time, he's a highly successful industrialist sitting there as the chief guest. Standing before a hall full of wide-eyed students, a young boy asks him for his greatest secret to success. Mohan smiles and shares this really powerful analogy. He says, imagine two people walk into the exact same forest. The first person looks around and sees only raw wood, just heavy logs to be carried. But the second person looks at the exact same trees and they see furniture, they see houses, they see opportunity. Mohan proved to those students that the ultimate difference in life outcomes isn't about the resources you're given. The trees are the same for everyone. The difference is entirely, 100%, about your mindset.
Let's formally define what this means in the context of our explainer today. True strength, exactly as Mohan demonstrated, is not just the physical labor of your hands. I mean, if it were, his father would have been the richest man in the village. True strength is the scale, the vision, and the precise direction of your thoughts. This completely dismantles the myth that poverty, or lack of initial resources, is some kind of insurmountable barrier. The only true barrier is a small mind. When your thoughts have scale and vision, you can leverage physical labor into something truly extraordinary.
To summarize all this, let's look at the 4 core pillars of Mohan's monumental success. First, prioritizing a big vision over small, transactional thinking. Second, backing up that vision with honest, highly consistent hard work. Third, maintaining strong, unwavering intentions, especially when it comes to quality and customer trust. And fourth, and honestly perhaps the most important, lifting others as you climb. Mohan never forgot his roots. In fact, to this day, he still provides free training to the youth in his village, empowering the next generation to build their own empires. He didn't just build wealth, he built a real legacy.
I'm going to leave you today with this powerful, provocative thought to take away from this explainer. Success starts in the mind, not the pocket. Are you letting small thinking limit your potential? Just think about Mohan in that forest. He had absolutely nothing in his pocket, but his mind was expansive. I challenge you to look at your own daily grind, your own resources, and ask yourself, are you just seeing the raw wood in front of you, or are you daring to see the opportunity? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this phenomenal story. Keep analyzing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep expanding your thinking.